I think from my recollection, the first time I actually held an instrument, like the guitar, was about 12. But I didn't actually own a guitar until my godmother got me one when I was 14. And that's when I kind of first started getting into guitar, about 14. Music that was around the house at that time was like people like Jim Reeves, because that's what my parents used to listen to. So it's like a bit of country music, until I started to get exposed to the stuff that was on TV at the time, kind of like Old Grey Whistle Test and stuff like that in the early 70s. And that's when I started to get exposed to hearing music outside of the home, which was mainly gospel music and country music. I started hearing all the other stuff, the black soul music, Motown and funk music and things like that. First kind of time I started working with bands was probably when I was about 15. There was a band that was formed from the church that my father was pastoring at the time in Bradford, and we used to call ourselves Freedom. And they were all just like friends from school and things, and from the local area where I lived in Bradford. And we just got a band together, and we used to do gigs and stuff like that. And that was a really good grounding for me, really, to kind of understand how you work in a band situation, and kind of find your place in that, you know what I mean, musically, because I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to be one who was more into playing guitar chords or more into soloing as a guitarist on the instrument. But I found I was more led towards playing more soloing kind of melodies and things like that. So that was my kind of first grounding, really. Over the years, the bands I've worked with has been bands like Nightmares and Wax. I've also worked with a band called Detrimental, which was a band in the 90s that I was very fortunate to work with. A very close friend of mine, Indy Goldfinger, was a major player in that band. I've worked with Jimmy Tenor, which is an artist from Finland who is very, very well known on the continent, and I've done some great work with him over the years. Finley Quay is another band or artist then that I've been fortunate to work with. But I mean, to be honest, there's actually quite a few, and it's hard to remember them all in one go, you know. But I've worked with a fair few bands over the years, and it's been all good fun. I suppose one that really is memorable and I'm very, very proud to have been a part of is working on a film soundtrack, Ocean 11, which I was very fortunate to have got the session on that, and plus working with David Holmes, which I think is a great musical director and composer, was a real eye-opener for me in that field of music, and to be able to work with someone with his expertise and his experience, I found was a really endearing experience to go through. So that is probably one that I'll always kind of feel I was very fortunate to be a part of. I love Indian music, and I've never really developed my playing in a way that I could maybe be a part of that kind of music, or to play or contribute something to that kind of music. So that's an area of music that I think I would love to actually develop. And I do listen to a lot of early people like Ravi Shankar and sitar players like that, and every time I hear it I just think this music is just magical. I'd love to be a part of it and to be able to contribute something to it, but you never know, that opportunity might come one day. But you know, I mean, that's one that I'd like to be able to do. Well, I would like to add that I hope, people who get the opportunity to check out On Your Own Tone will see that it's about bringing individuals who may not actually feel that they've got the skills required to be great players, but it's not about that. It's about enjoying what you're doing. Guitar playing to me is supposed to be fun, so you can play it with mates around, and at the same time, if you feel there's a yearning to want to develop your playing, there's an opportunity that you can actually be a part of a community that will listen and also give you the opportunity to hear things and learn from that experience.